I told y'all, we got the game on lock. Crank Lucas the rap deucer. Team Real Racing. Y'all already know we won. Off-road racing, quick as in the desert. To the finish line, passing through the checkers. It's Team Real, we just much better. When we on the track, we apply that pressure. People lined up screaming from the sideline. When they see the UT class fly by, or they see me in the truck doing drive-bys, in the Parker Dam or in the Baja. Every time you see me rolling through inside a buggy, and I'm counting up the money, cause I came to multiply it. Push a 1200 horsepower in the motor, you don't really wanna race me, I dare you to try it. Started up the engine, now my wheels on fire. Zooming through the track while I'm running up the rubber. Better get them slow waves out of my water. You don't wanna see the shark or there's a crusher. It's Team Real, y'all know what the biz. Crank Lucas, and I'm spinning on the wheel. Doing 160, pass you so fast when the wind hits your body, get the chills. Telling everybody they can eat my dust, but I guarantee you won't beat my best. Popping champagne when I'm at the finish line and I'm holding up the trophy and I beat my chest. What first place look like it's me? I don't do twos and I never met a three. People know the Team Real logo when I'm running through the desert and I'm running all through the streets. Never have to cap my race game tight. My vehicles can go all night. Foot up on the gas, I can never brake right because I'm allergic to all the red lights. Team Real, Team Real. Everybody thinking that they faster till they gotta race. Team Real, Team Real. All about the speed and you can see it all up in my face. Team Real, Team Real. Real scared money don't make no money. It's Team Real, Team Real. Hit a motor rumble and the tires burning from the rubber. Team Real, Team Real. Everybody thinking that they faster till they gotta race. Team Real, Team Real. All about the speed and you can see it all up in my face. Team Real, Team Real. Real scared money don't make no money. It's Team Real, Team Real. Hit a motor rumble and the tires burning from the rubber.
You want to know what's going on in your dirt sports world? Whether it's four wheels, two wheels, Dirt Sports World's got you covered. From the dirt to the dunes, we bring you the latest action in racing, to lifestyle, the newest parts, the newest vehicles, and what the superstars of off-road are up to. Check out our social media for up-to-date information on Instagram, Facebook, Dirt Sports World, and more in depth, and check out the magazine at www.dirtsportsworld.com. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel, Dirt Sports World, for some great videos. So make sure to follow us and come get dirty with us.
Once again, reigning supreme, Connor Barry, the three-time iRacing Short Course National Series champion.
One thing I would like to tell my competitors is the job is not done yet.
You can see that Luke Canutt wants to end the season on a high, did not want the fight to end like this.
Second place in the championship, but that's not over yet.
But the championship leaders banging and rubbing doors on the run towards the line. Whoa. Connor Barry tried everything. Experience from the real world to the virtual as well, because then Dashley makes a mistake.
It's going to be a new Dashlette this year, so hopefully this means that I'll be running up front more.
and history made. Team Gold and Briley on top.
One thing I'd like to tell all the competitors for 2025 is watch out, Team Gold's coming.
The 2-year wait for victory lane may continue for Keaton Swain.
Winning is important. I show up to win, so obviously winning is everything.
Last week, the iRacing Short Course Pro 4 National Series kicked off with a bang at the Big House. But now we head to a bull ring to the Wild West Motorsports Park to see how championship stories will continue live on RaceSpotTV. Hi folks, Arjuna Kankipati, joined alongside by the voice of off-road, Dave Arnold, as we descend into what should be an interesting evening of action. And Dave, I was so glad to be back a couple of weeks ago with you in the booth because let's be honest, short course, it's some of the best that iRacing has to offer.
Oh, this is one of my favorite sports. I mean, you announce a lot of sports too, but when it comes down to it, nothing is down and dirty, just gut racing as short course is. Banging doors, you're able to hit. They're not going to say, oh, don't hit my pretty fenders, because we can replace them here. But it's all about catching air and flying through the air too. That's what I love about it.
That's what I love about it. The fiberglass goes flying. Today marks the final round before we head into the first of our Triple Crown races at the Bark River International Raceway. Of course, this is a season schedule which has seen so many draw attention to the midway mark of the season when we hit the streets of Long Beach for what is going to be a debut to remember on RaceSpotTV. But, I mean, Dave, you look through the schedule, these drivers have seen and raced around the other tracks plenty of times. They know exactly what they're in for as we run through May 21st.
Yeah, that's right. But I'll tell you, the streets of Long Beach is going to really mix it up for him. Too bad we didn't get old Robbie Gordon to call and throw some of his ramps out there for his SST trucks. But, man, I'll tell you, that's going to be exciting. But, yeah, each guy, they can practice a lot of these tracks here. But, when it comes to race time, it's a whole nother game, a whole nother race.
Whole nother game indeed. Let's talk championship standings. We're still very early on in the season, but some usual favorites up towards the front. Connor Barry, Keaton Swain, and then, well, Luke Knupp down in 5th. Expect him to maybe bounce back as the master of Wild West in seasons past. But let's be honest, I think the race at the Big House, Dave, it's always a bit of the unknown with a 10-wide land rush start. It's back to a little bit more normal 2x2, and I think that's where we'll see qualifying play very important once again.
Yeah, I always say the first race of the year sets the tone for the rest of the season. But with these, so many different variations of tracks that we have, some guys just excel better at others, and Crandon, that was one for sure. But now this is going to separate them in for the boys. We got some high elevations, we got some high speeds and some big jumps. And I'll tell you, those 90-degree turns can kill you.
They look simple, but they are anything but. I've got a couple of minutes, by the way, before the drivers head out for qualifying. So we'll take a look at the team standings as well. Just continue walking you through everything as Channel 199 Sim Racing just 3 points clear of Factory SimSport, but already a bit of a gulf to not just Team Gold Day, but then to Iridium and the rest of the teams in the top 10.
Yeah, it's looking pretty cool. These teams are now getting together, and it's like whether it's NASCAR, IndyCar, any of these guys, they're all team-based. Well, I've seen little strategies come into play, but where they're going for the lead and it's a teammate, I think the gloves are going to come off too. But it's cool to see this. Can't wait to see. But man, we got a tight battle already for the top spot.
And I think a bit of an interesting story given the team championship new in some ways for 2025. Let's talk about the format then for today. As mentioned, next week, or rather next race event, we break out the Triple Crown format today. It's 10 minutes of qualifying, 4 laps as per normal, and then split out into our 4 respective heats where top 4 advance directly into the main event. Everyone else has to go through the scramble that is an LCQ. Only the top 2 to advance before we get into the 22-lap main event where, of course, Dave, caution at the end of lap number 10.
Yeah, it's always great. It's that race within the race and always makes it exciting. You could be leading the race at the halfway point, but, there's some strategy that goes into it. And I know a lot of guys like to play a little possum until the last minute. I know Connor Berry, fought his way up and pretty much stayed out front. But this track, you got to be careful. Turn number 2 is always interesting. It's their version of Calamity Corner.
It's a good point. I think I've seen a my fair share of trucks flip over there in the virtual world. Let's talk power rankings, though, because, well, there were some power performances last week, that's for sure, but Connor Barry still sits atop these power rankings presented by our 2025 partners. New onto the board, though, Tom Grady, Sean Winkler, Tyson Miller, and Luke Sofrit through the top 10 in these power rankings, but I think we really have to keep an eye out for Luke Canup today. As I mentioned, Dave, bit of a master of Wild West. He won both of the races in 2024 here.
Yeah, definitely Luke Knep's one to keep an eye on for. Keaton Swain, though, still pretty hungry. But Josh Edmondson, he always throws, some speed down here. It's going to be interesting. Not his favorite track out there, but, man, Connor is very good. But Keaton Swain, you have to keep an eye on. I think him, Luke, and Keaton and Connor are going to be battling for sure.
Unfortunately, I think Keaton's going to be missing tonight using his drop round in the championship. That might be something for us to talk about when we get a little bit closer to the end of the season, when, of course, that drop round will not be something Keaton has as a tool in his back pocket. I think you're right about Josh Edmondson, though, for sure, especially. Yeah. It's crazy to say, but Dave, he's a rookie here in the iRacing Short Course National Pro 4 Series.
Yeah, he's raced a lot of other stuff over the years, and in iRacing and in real life. But here he's got some competition here in the Pro 4 class for sure. But I'm looking down there, Nick Dachelet and Thad Countryman. They're ones to keep an eye on there. And I know every once in a while, Tyson Miller, he could be there at the right time and right place and could capitalize on it.
As we saw last week at Crandon as well, so should be an interesting one. As mentioned, still waiting for qualifying to get underway, but that will roll through shortly. You can see the final moments of practice still continuing to roll through. New driver, by the way, for this round of the championship, as Eric Jones joins us as part of the Iridium SimSport team. Brody Shore and Luke Sofrit have also swapped team alliances to that new team, so we'll be keeping an eye out for them. Track evolution, always interesting though here, Dave, because you'll start to see that line settle in, and especially here out of turn 3, I do tend to see, in my opinion, a single line form through the course of the night.
Yeah, I mean, there's you can get 2 fast lines through there, but once that blue groove starts to lay down, it's got to be in the right spot at the right time. You can get pushed a little wide too. You want to be in the inside. You want to control the inside. You want to be that lane 1, lane 2, I always call it. So anybody's messing with you, you can kind of push them up and make them lose their momentum.
Crazy to think that, Dave, it's now been 4 years since the Wild West Motorsports Park shuttered its doors. Tell me, what fond memories do you have about this track when they were racing trucks around there in the real world?
Oh, just seeing, 100 plus miles an hour coming off that turnstile, I always say, off the top, coming down through there. It's just mind-blowing to hear those Pro 4s just screaming, 105. We had a Nevada State Trooper that stood out there with his radar gun and was giving us readings when they go by. That was so cool. And the smile on his face, and he goes, I don't have to give him a ticket.
You see, now that's cool. Compare it to Laguna Seca, where on the outside of turn 5 or something, they have a hut with a sound meter, and if you go too loud, they black flag you and pull you off the track. Now, which one is cooler? You tell me, Dave. The cop that stands there and smiles, or the noise police that pull you off the track?
I like a smiling cop any day of the week. Definitely put that one in my books. But just the people that have shown up there, the celebrities over the years that have made their way to, the biggest little city just outside of Reno there.
Qualifying has just begun as we throw 10 minutes onto the clock. Yes, 10 minutes away from Reno is the former site of the Wild West Motorsports Park as Zachary Drapkin launches that red line all machine up towards turn 1. It's a big climb, and then, like you said, down to turn 2. Big drop off into what is this track's Calamity Corner.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And this is where I was talking about, you come around and it gets tight. I've seen so many guys get stuck on that K-roll on the inside, a few East Coast coasters, Jersey Barriers. But, you can see how he's really keeping that line tight right there. There, just a little step out, a half step out. That's the fastest line through there. You'll see guys that go out and get in the marbles. They'll start to lose tractions, coming around sliding. And this is always a tricky one because there's those 2 fingers coming off their little stutter bumps, and they always unsettle the trucks. But, man, it is fast. This is where they hit that 100 plus miles an hour.
And again, watch the climb up to the Opening braking zone, 3,000ths between Drake Mittag and Zachary Drapkin on their opening laps in qualifying. If those are the margins we're going to be playing with for the rest of the session, it's going to be close. And look at that, Western Mess, 22,000ths off of pole position. Gavin Plummer, 56,000, splitting the front four.
Yeah, it's close, but look at this. Nicholas Dachelet just answered right back on his first lap out there to get some good numbers. Cody Winicki. Cody Vanderveer also coming up. Drake Mittag down to 4th. But look at this. Joey Ruby, he just snuck in there. That's
They're all starting to climb. Where's Connor Barry? Where's Luke Canup? That's kind of the question where I'm starting to wonder. There comes the red plate on the top of the defending champion, the number 2, Slicky, who's gone out wide, so he's setting up a qualifying lap here. Dave, talk us through this run up towards turn number 1.
And this is where you want to get the speed, because this is where it's going to really hit that. It's going to kick across to kick the timer. And this is so important here. It's the braking zone. You want to carry enough speed through this turn, but you also don't want to blow it too much. You know, the binders, you're going to get somebody in the back, you're going to lose speed, especially in qualifying. Now, this is a critical step. You know, you're going to want to set up around the middle of the track, come out, drift around, keep the nose on the wall, and then you're going to be parallel at this point. That's almost textbook. Now, this is another setup here. You get too tight to the wall, you screw up some speed. You get out too wide, you get in the marbles, you lose traction. There's a little unsettled, you know, pop it up, catch a little air off of this one here. Now these right here, bam, bam. You can see how that truck gets unsettled. You want to keep your nose in there. You want to stay in that race line. Quickest way around the track, the shortest distance, and that's where he's going to hit it. Let's see what he's going to do when he pops across here.
Will it be pole? Yes, it will be, and the margin, 52,000ths of a second. So we're not talking big margins by any means. And Nicholas Dachelet, Cody Winicki, now see Cody Vanderveer join the fun. Luke Canup only finds 4th on the board as Trenton Briley jumps to 6th. So, well, I see 3/10 covering the front, almost 20 or so right now. So blink, make a mistake. And especially, I love how you described it, Dave, those 2 little fingers on the entry into the final corner. So easy to unsettle the car. Here comes Tyson Miller to the line.
Yeah, they're not really jumps. They're just more like a, you know, like a big speed pump. We like to call them the big fingers sticking out. And sometimes that final one will throw you the middle one for a second. Man, I've seen some spectacular crashes coming off that turn. The trucks can settle. Rob McCachran and Carl Renneson are tying it, and it wasn't for Carl hitting him after McCachran was flipping. He would have rolled all the way down the hill. And then, you know, they're still hitting 50, 60 miles an hour at that point. And it's
intimidating
it's steep. Yes. Yeah. This is steeper than you think.
That's the one thing that I think the sim sometimes doesn't give you that full perspective of exactly how sheer some of the elevation climbs and drops can be. Josh Edmondson, not seeing a time registered so far on the sector, so I'm not sure if this is a lap which has been invalidated, if it's a warm-up lap or something, but there you can see bottom right, 34 seconds and counting as he commits into the final corner. Nice and early, want to get the truck turned in before it settles and you punch onto the power. Remember, Pro 4 trucks will have a Pro 2 National Series later on this year. That's what Edmondson's going to be looking forward to. He prefers the 2-wheel drive trucks. 48.740 is only 15th for Edmondson.
Ooh. Yeah, I was kind of shocked on, you know, seeing his tops, you know, his time when he was coming off that turn. And it was a couple seconds, or about a second off of what Connor was. So it's going to be interesting. But, you know, he's, you know, sometimes it takes you a lap or two to burn yourself into that line, to the groove, to get into it. These guys, though, you know they've been burning laps on this track, putting the time. Everybody struggles here. Nobody's really mastered this track.
I mean, if anyone can master a track which is ever-changing and ever-evolving like dirt facilities are, color me impressed, in my opinion.
Yes.
I always find it so interesting seeing how you have to evolve, adapt over time. It's about, what, 0.07 of a second that Josh Edmondson improves, but that's 5-6 positions right there as he cracks the top 10. Still Connor Barry on top, though, as things stand. 3 minutes and 40 seconds left to go. Not sure if we're going to see Connor head back out onto track or if he's done for the session.
Well, he might have to wait and see. You know, he's still got some time left. He's still got a lap to burn if he needs to. Dachelet, you know, he's pretty close. With Nicky, you know, also Luke Canup, you know, who's won here twice? Luke. Can he be down there? Trent Briley, you know, he's a fast young man for sure, too, because we see him working around.
Times are stacking up. Seems like more drivers heading out onto track. Nicholas Dachalet. I think Connor Barry, by the way, did improve a subsequent time around, because what was once a 52,000 second gap is now up to 87,000 as Trenton Briley does crack his way up into the top 3. Remember, we split ourselves up into 4 individual heats, so everyone inside of the front 4 gets a chance to start from pole position in their respective heat race.
Yeah, I'm looking at these numbers, plus 87,000s. Let's see, 19,000s, 24,000s, 50. I mean, they're just a blink of an eye off of each guy. I mean, this is going to be a barn burner for sure.
100%. Here comes Luke Knupp. Can he find 2/10? That's all he's trying to find right now. He'll find 300ths of a second if he's lucky, and might improve him on the board, albeit no, stays in 5th. Here comes Cody Winicki, who, again, 10th and a half or so, finds him on pole position. Barry, by the way, is back out there on track. Like Dave mentioned, he had one more lap in reserve, which he's saving till the very end. We'll see if there's any improvement. Says no improvement for Cody Winicki.
Yeah, that's the thing. You want to see what everybody else did. If you need to pull out that extra magazine and slap it in, well, Connor just did. He says, oh, they're creeping up on me. I mean, look at Trenton Briley up into the 3rd. Cody Nicky's down to 4th. Luke Knupp still with the 5 is still 5th position. But Plumley and Vanderveer, McFarland guy was up there a little bit early on, but I mean, still hundreds, thousands. I mean, these guys are just so close on time.
Absolutely. Nicholas Dachalet, who calls Crandon, Wisconsin home. 48.533. No improvement for him. So I think right now Connor Barry is looking like he is going to grab pole position here. Of course, after a victory to open things up a couple of weeks ago. There's the plumb entry for Christopher Plumley as he comes to a stop. Connor Barry did improve, by the way, Dave. He just couldn't help himself. He's now 1.5 tenths clear of the field.
I think somebody's saying, hey, be scared.
It's a bit of a statement, isn't it? And 2x2 will line up as opposed to the 10 wide, which always is a bit more of a reassuring fact for those starting the race up front. Able to control and dictate the tempo. The 818 Adam McAfee is going to be one of the final cars to set a time as he runs to the line. 23rd on the board for now. Crosses the line in mid-air, and he does improve up to 21st.
Oh, not bad, creeping up there. He's got the 818 on the wall back there. See, Cali guy. It's the local Los. It's up in, what is it, above Los Angeles there, 818. Some guys, you know, always look at their numbers. You know, they always like, okay, 619 to live in San Diego. You know, it's a 714. You know, I've seen, hey, the 202's in the house. You know?
So you're talking to the wrong person, because I've got an area code from a place I've never lived in the US, but that's how it be sometimes. We're ready to go racing. 4 heats on deck, and remember, from each of these races, only a couple at the front will advance, and so Barry and Knupp, I mean, what a front row to lead us to the green. They'll have the Terminator, Tyson Miller, and Crystal King behind. There's some big names that have to go through an LCQ, that's for sure. As Matthew Lindy, Adam McAfee, 5th and 6th positions. And then 7th for Tyler Shaddock, 8th for Jeff Ives, and then Austin Schreiber, Cross Kirchmeier, and ignore Aiden Irvine. Race control will not be out there on track. Instead, he's going to be controlling all the action, and most importantly, going to be talking through all the drivers. One really cool thing in the background that you can see, Dave, between Connor Barry's hats, his medal for winning the opening round of the championship, something new for 2025.
Oh, I love the fact that they're doing that. So many cool things that have happened this season, you know, with new sponsors coming on. It's what it's all, you can just see it evolving. I love this. I like in the General Tire and the Racecraft hat look good with that medal.
It's just such a nice thing, right, to be able to recognize your accomplishments. Even in the sim world, you put so much time and effort into it with something physical. Of course, you mentioned new partners. A big shout out to 8fi Simulators and Team Real Racing for coming on board for 2025. So excited to have them. And Well, we've had 2 different pole sitters to open up the year. It was Tyson Miller a couple of weeks ago at Crandon. Connor Barry, 4th in qualifying at the opening round, on pole this time around. The question is really going to be, is Slicky going to have a chance to go back-to-back to open up his title defense? And in some ways, Dave, it's somewhat a good thing, at least for some of our viewers, that Keaton Swain isn't here, because it means that we're not going to talk much about the last time he won a race in the series.
Yeah, I was kind of like, oh man, I looked down the list and yep, sure enough, he's not there. And yeah, I don't think he appreciates that. But you know what? Sometimes it lights a fire under a race car driver's butt.
That's what I'm saying, right? Our position is that we're just trying to get Keaton to really throw the elbows out there. Anyway, that's all to come in the future. We'll see Keaton back in victory lane in 2025. A driver that talented, we know just how quick he can be. Front row, though, is stacked. It's champions that get ready to lead us to the green of the second round in the iRacing National Series Pro 4 Series. Here we go. Slicky does not wait and leads us into the opening corner. Knupp's going to have an easy ride as he shoves the bumper of the champion down through turn number 1. A tidy start, though. 8 enter, 4 to move on forward.
Yeah, it looks like Connor Barry's going to get that hole shot. You see he's going to dive in there. You can see Knupp trying to get the fender down the inside. You can see Crystal King also put it in that position there. You can see everybody wanting to get that inside, looking up the inside again, Knupp. And you can see Crystal's keeping her nose right there, trying to keep Tyson Miller from trying to get inside. People will get that nose in there and kind of just going to wedge you out like a shoehorn.
Still early in this race. Let's not forget that we're going to see Evolution play its part. You can see the green line underneath 4th position indicating our transfers here as we close the end of lap 1. Don't expect the top 4 to fight too much if they're given that opportunity, but we've got to keep an eye out for Lindy. We know just how hungry he can be. Look at all the trophies behind him as he eyes an assault on Miller down to turn 2. The Terminator's going to have to keep an eye out behind because Lindy can be aggressive.
Yeah, definitely, Lindy, sitting 1 position. I can see everybody wants to get to that inside line if you can. You can see Lindy now is going to try and switch to the other side, but you can see now that Miller is just going to get into blocking position. And I think Crystal King's driving real smart. She's using the fast line. She knows that Miller is having to deal with Lindy, so she can kind of control that line herself.
Of course, when it comes to Tyson Miller, teammate to Crystal King, so factory SimSport pair also not likely to attack too hard on one another behind. Looked like Adam McAfee might have brushed the wall out of the final quarter, slows him down slightly. No slowing down for the top 2. Already a couple of car lengths clearer of Crystal King, who, it's fair to say, Dave, had a nightmare start to the season, and she's hoping in a Shenandoah Shine entry, the 278, for a bit more luck here today.
Yeah, especially the way she fought her way through qualifying, made it up there. It's just unfortunately the main event was really rough on a lot of drivers we saw. But right now, she is holding her own. And I tell you, Lindy is trying to do everything he can, but you can see Adam McAfee is trying to stalk down Lindy, so he's got to worry about that. So it's one of those things, okay, I got to get a position qualifying. How do you block the guy behind you in your brain? Don't let him get inside your head. Don't let him screw your lines up.
And speaking of messing up those lines, McAfee and Shattuck almost wheel-to-wheel off of 4. They've lost a whole second effectively to Matthew Lindy as we finish the first 3 laps of this race. 3 more left to go, and they're rubbing doors, exiting off of the opening corner and plunging down off that descent. Shattuck's going to now really try and cross up McAfee. Like you say, try to get to that inside line, maybe bully a little bit, but some good respectful racing between the 2 of them. The 818 holds on for the time being.
You can see McAfee looks like he's got rhino lining on that thing, hoping it's going to, add a little stiffness to that fiberglass to beat and bang back. But you can see Lindy's definitely, still in that 4th position trying to chase him down. Crystal, she's got some hungry dogs behind her right now, I'll tell you. A lot of footsteps.
Don't know if Matthew's got the speed right now, though, to make a pass, right? It's enough to be able to follow, but maybe not enough to close and really throw a lunge or anything. And so, again, teammates at 3rd and 4th position, not likely to see them squabble. There's no points for 3rd and 4th. There are a couple of points, 6 for 1st and 2 for 2nd spot. So as I say that, contact between Crystal King and Tyson Miller. And
What was that?
Concertina up down at turn number 2.
This is dirt racing. Come on. They're going to throw the gloves come off every once in a while. It was just like, hey, how you doing? What's up? I'm still here.
Just a slight reminder, and now that fiberglass on the right side, just flying around a little bit, but motocross champion Crystal King, no sort of sweat for the time being. I believe it's still 2 laps to go. Connor Barry under pursuit, never mind. Final lap of the race in heat number 1.
Yeah, definitely can see. Oh, he's going to get a little bump there from behind again. And we can watch our leaders coming down the hill. Luke Knupp, in a qualifying position. He's not going to take any chances the final lap. You're going to get it. He's going to try, if it's a clean pass, he'll try to get in there. But I think right now, Tyson Miller has got his sights set on Crystal King. He's trying to work it there. The last lap, typical, I'm going to, okay, if I can do it, I'm going to make it happen now. But I think you're right. Lindy off the pace just a little bit.
We're not talking big off the pace, right? We're talking he needs a 100th or so more to just get that little bit closer. Barry and Knupp, locked bumpers for 6 laps. A car length splits them at the line. Both advance from the front row of heat number 1. Crystal King and Tyson Miller, the factory Simsport pair, are able to control the runnings behind to take those final 2 transfer positions as well. And the rest, no, an LCQ awaits them. One more opportunity. The Channel 199 sim racing driver Connor Barry grabs the victory as he tries to go back-to-back to open up his championship defense, while Team Gold's Luke Knupp, in a aim to try and make it 3 wins on the bounce here at Wild West, sits in 2nd. King, Miller 3rd and 4th. Lindy, McAfee, Shattuck, Schreiber, Ives, and Kirchmeier, the top 10. Here's a look at the starting grid then for Heat 2, where Nicholas Dachelet lines up alongside his factory Simsport teammate Christopher Plumley, Thad Countryman, Matt Adams. Quick row 2, Mason Prater, Sean Winkler. Quick row 3 as well. Wes Graham and then Eric Jones line up alongside one another as Iridium Simsport, of course, debut in this championship. Dennis Mikkelsen, Solon Borschinger at the back of the 10-car Heat number 2. There's a look at Nicholas Dachelet as he gets onto the radio, talks a little bit with his team. I've got to ask you, Dave, what's the real world like when it comes to communication between spotter and their driver behind the wheel?
Oh, it's everything. There's no, mirrors in the cars. You got to let know if somebody's, coming up on you. If you can go to the inside, they're going to keep you clear. Clear to cut in, telling you which lane. That's why I was talking about race line 1, lane 2, lane 3, lane 4. Kind of break it down in your, the way the drivers. The spotters, you don't want to overtalk them. You just got to kind of whisper them through it. If they're doing good, you leave them alone. But if someone's going to, coming up the inside, you're going to let them know. They can squeeze it down. And it's just so important there because you want the containment seats, you don't have vision. And it's not like in the VR and you're looking around and you can see everywhere or have the river mirror. Doesn't exist.
And I think the thing that a lot of people don't even consider is once you're strapped into the cockpit, let alone the visibility anyway, you've also got the Hans device and whatnot. Once it's strapped in, you have limited room to move your neck around. The first time I got behind the wheel of a race car, I went, what? This is what it's like? Get me out of it. Let me try and get more comfortable. Anyway, off and away we're going to roll. Teammates on the front row, and then behind them should be an interesting battle for, again, 4 transfer spots into the main event. Did not see any action inside of the front 4 in heat number 1. I am not expecting a repeat of that as we get ready to drop the hammer once again. 10 drivers to enter, 6 laps on deck. Dachelet doesn't hang around either. Racing once more from Wild West. Inside for Thad Countryman on Matt Adams as they squabble for 3rd and 4th positions. Bit of a lean there on Christopher Plumley as well. Descend down out of turn 1. Mason Prater's on the offense.
And you can see Dachelet is all by himself there, but the battle is between Plumley and Countryman. Adams trying to come up the inside, scraping that K-row, gets a little out of shape there. Plumley breaks away just a little bit from Countryman, gets that breathing room, but it's allowing Dachelet to keep pulling away. The more contact back there, he's good with it. These guys are going to be battling with each other and not him.
I think, yes, one transfer spot may just have broken away and will aim to set sail. We're on board with Sean Winkler, another driver in virtual reality. Don't forget, want to buy or sell a house, might want to call Sean Winkler. Although, let's see, if he can get into the top 4, then we'll recommend you give a call to Mr. Winkler. Otherwise, I don't know.
Okay.
The challenge is being laid down.
The challenge is, the gauntlet has been thrown.
We know just
great
how
shot.
he can be in that Racecraft Academy car.
That's for sure right now, but you can see Dashalet, you know, he's not really pulling away now. Plumlee's actually creeping up on him. You know, there's a little gap still there, a little gap back to Countryman. Adams, a little bit deeper. Now, the big thing is seeing the gap between Adams and Winkler. That's what we're going to really have to keep an eye on right now. That's the class qualifying position, the 404, Matt Adams.
And I think with Mason Prater brushing the wall once again, if Sean Winkler can get his focus forward, he does have a chance to close. Remember, he started behind Prater on the grid itself, and so just got to now close a couple of car lengths. The top 3 are very, very close. Dashalet stretched the legs on the opening lap, but Plumlee starting to bring that gap a little bit closer. We jump on board, though, back in 6th position, Mason Prater.
Yeah, he's running the Manberry colors on there. Definitely will not miss that one for sure. The suit to match coming in, even his graphics go with it. But, you know, it gets tough when you get caught behind him. I mean, especially back there in 6th place, 5 cars. You could hear that. You can just hear the little pelting of his car. You can just hear the sounds of little marbles being thrown up there of dirt clods.
And it's a good thing on the sim you have unlimited tear-offs on your visor. Not the case in the real world, and so keep a mop or a rag handy in the car if you need to try and get a bit more visibility. That's Mason Prater trying to just push Sean Winkler out of the way and get a bit more of an eye line to Matt Adams. Problem here is 3 laps left to go, and all this battle does is draw them away from those transfer positions.
Yeah, it's one of the things I loved about the Mud Munchers. I think they carried like 3 feet of film, so you can keep going. But I've seen guys go through them and they pull that rag up, and then it's wet. They do a swipe across, and then your vision becomes blurry, dirt blur.
I've seen some interesting mechanical setups for people trying to automate all of that as well, so they don't have to try and hide something in their cockpit somewhere.
Yeah, most definitely. We can see on board here with Thad Countryman as he's, you know, still trying to chase down Plumlee, seeing his lines, but he's in the qualifying position, so he's got to drive smart. 2 laps to go still.
This is where it's a couple of points for 2nd position, which does not sound like a lot, but we know how close this championship can be. Came down to single digits last year, and so there might be some of these drivers just thinking, if I can have a chance of grabbing a couple of points here and there, let me accumulate them. We're ready to cycle on to the final lap. Does look as though Nicholas Dashalet has done just enough, Dave, to hold on to the race lead here in heat number 2.
Yeah, he's actually gapped out about 2 more truck lengths right now, and you can see now that Plumlee is starting to gap a little bit on Countryman, so they went and man, here we go. Final lap, 1 lap to go. White Flag Racing here in the heat race.
That lead has grown. It's been a nice, comfortable pace set by Dashalet. As much as Countryman's put the pressure on, not going to have a chance down to turn 2. A little bit out wide, though, for Plumlee. He's opened the door up towards turn number 3 for the final time.
Oh! And Plumlee was getting a little protective there, and I think it threw Countryman a little out of shape there. He had a run at him there, but couldn't get that truck to fit in between. Now it's going to be a run up here. Now we're going to see if he's going to go for a dive to the inside right away. There it is.
Answer is yes. Bit of a hip check, but it's now a drag race down to the line between the 2 of them. Dashalet up front's loving this in the rearview mirrors. He's clear to the Heat 2 victory. It's by a nose, but Plumlee gets it over Countryman. Matt Adams is going to be down in 4th. Mason Prater almost launched there by Dennis Mickelson on the run to the line. Unfortunately, all of that battling outside of the front 4 costs those outside a chance of fighting, and so Dashalet, Plumlee, Countryman, and Adams, they're going through to the main event. Unfortunately for Sean Winkler, that battle with Prater and Mickelson cost them a bit too much ground, along with Graham Jones and Borschinger. they've got some work to do. Fast lap from Thad Countryman, though. Keep an eye out for him in that main event. Trenton Briley's at the front of heat number 3. Cody Vanderveer in that Racecraft Academy entry will be alongside with Tom Grady, Josh Edmondson, Brody DeShore, and then Joey Herby, your front 6 in the field. Gavin Plummer, the 906 Dirt 298s inside of Luke Safrit in that Iridium Simsport entry. 10th in the power rankings, let's not forget. Christian Noble, Kyle Cooper at the tail end of heat number 3. Drivers getting there. Quick final instructions from race control before we get ready to go racing. There is Trenton Briley behind the wheel of the Team Gold machine. Quick sip of something and then getting ready to settle in. That is the one nice thing about the sim, is you can have whatever you want around you, whatever keeps you comfortable and ready to go.
Yeah, definitely one of those things that is a little bit nicer, and you get a break in between. You can go use the restroom in between heat races.
Cody Vanderveer sits there as well. Just a little less tension, I think, for some of these sim racers than when you have to get strapped into a race car and wait on a grid. I feel like that sometimes builds your nerves and your tension in a totally different way. Differences as compared to the real world here. Any nerves that you have, you don't have the same adrenaline dump that occurs when a race starts with the physical intensity of the car. So that sometimes can catch these drivers slightly out. We're rolling then for heat number 3. I've got to say, Dave, that second heat didn't see as much passing as I thought we might. Wondering if heat 3 is where the action starts to build.
Yeah, it's kind of typical to this track. The guys, or drivers that jump out front right away usually can, command the race. It's all in how you handle turn 1 into turn 2. The setups there are so important. And this race, I always say, is usually settled 1, 2, and 3. The run up, yeah, we've seen it pass or somebody force their way, or at least go edge to edge. It doesn't always work, as is you make an establishment in turn 1. If you put your footprint down, you're going to take this one.
And Trenton Briley, early jump. Polster once again has a healthy lead. They were 3 wide through 1. They might be 3 wide through 3 as well if they continue barreling in with such momentum. 59 of Cody Vanderveer almost blocks off Josh Edmondson as Tom Grady in the Factory Simsport 535 drops out of those transfer positions. One driver's run away. Everyone else fighting for 3 transfer spots in heat number 3.
And you can see Cody literally and Brody are just battling back and forth, switching positions. Edmondson, he's now trying to squeeze up the inside, trying to establish. He's going to go in the 3rd place by a nose at this point. He's going to try and move away, take that line. Now it's how do you outbrake somebody, take to the inside? Will Brody get it back? And yes, slightly, but Edmondson's right there. Now he's going to be in a poor position here. Look at this setup going in turn 2. That's what I was talking about. Put your footprint in there, you're going to own this turn.
Behind them, Plummer and Grady are also wheel to wheel, so there are a couple of different moments to keep an eye on. That's Cody Vanderveer on the bottom of your screen, not Tom Grady, unfortunately, but the look of focus is all you really need to know as they sail back off to the final corner. 2 laps about to be complete, 4 left to go, and while Briley's broken away, everyone else is still locked and in very, very close quarters as well. So when you think about where Grady sits right now, he's got to get aggressive, Dave, sooner rather than later.
Yeah, definitely. He's going to have to do something and start establishing, stick that nose in there. But Duscher's going to definitely, look at this. He's trying to control that inside line. And you can see there's a lot of contact there. Almost both of them going out of shape. That could have been bad for both of these drivers.
Entering the corner. Oh. They're all stacking up down at 2. That was Plummer that's lost a bit of ground as he was stuck to the wall, it seemed like, for a couple of moments. Gets a big shove then from Joey Herby in the 24. Luke Safrit's not going to follow through in the Iridium Simsport 228. And Christian Noble gets hip checked and blocked off as a result down to that final corner. He's still on the inside as they barrel in almost 3 abreast. The 298 of Plummer just avoids being tagged. Some great racing action halfway through heat number 3.
And you can see there Herby having a good run this race here. Couple out of that qualifying position. Brody Duscher going to definitely hold on to it. You can see the Boozy machine, Boozy Jerky, trying to move right up to the inside, the 946. Trying to make some moves. That's Christian Noble. He's saying, okay, there's a little daylight there. Let's see if I can get my nose in there. Oh, they were tight that time.
haven't seen as much fiberglass flying as I expected. I think maybe it's all just building. Those LCQs, that main event, might be getting more and more spicy as we build through the course of the night. On board with Safrit back in 9th position. I mean, Carl Cooper's not far behind as well. All of these drivers can't say they're totally out of things, especially as you see how out of sorts you can get if you don't necessarily get the best entry into the corner. Christian Noble a little bit unsettled as we head on to the penultimate lap of the race.
Yeah, it's definitely going to show Briley's pretty much walking away with this. It's going to come down to Van der Veer, Edmondson, Duscher, and Grady just outside. He's, outside that bubble. Brody's the one holding on tight to it right now, and you can see these guys are all trying to stack up. You can see the run there with Edmondson, the 1 in a 9 channel driver. And then Brody, and then look at this, Gavin Plummer. He's a little bit deeper though, 7th place. Be rough, but look at that, out into the marbles, I was going to say, but out.
I think he's got an issue, technical maybe. He did hit the wall on the inside of turn 2 quite hard, but he is ground to a halt and now heads back towards the pit lane. 1 lap left to go. Van der Veer has closed on Bradley, yes, but not close enough as we head on to this final lap to put the pressure on. Front 4 looking pretty comfortable, with the exception maybe of Brody Deshore. Can Tom Grady close on this final lap?
Yeah, that's going to be the question. Can Grady get up there and get into the fight and staying calm? You can see he's focused there, but there's a good little gap. You see beautiful acceleration with Brody. You had that truck, just hooked up. And these things, you just don't stop on the throttle. You got to roll them on. A lot of throttle control. You're driving on dirt. It's like driving on ice sometimes. You got to keep those tires from spinning. You got to keep that forward momentum going.
Even though you have 4-wheel drive, like you say, the skill of the driver does come to the forefront at this level. Trenton Briley, Cody Van der Veer, only 6 tenths going to split them at the end of Heat 3. The pressure built from the Racecraft Academy driver, but Team Gold's entry holds on at the front. The number 17 victorious, and we'll move on alongside Van der Veer, Josh Edmondson, Brody Deshore, while Tom Grady, Joey Herby, Christian Noble, Luke Safrit, Carl Cooper, and then Gavin Plummer. Unknown issue for the 298 means he is classed as 1 lap down and one of just a handful of drivers who have not been able to finish things so far. Cody Winicki lines up at the front of Heat 4 alongside Evan McFarlane, with Drapkin and Mittag sharing row 2. Power-packed front 4, to say the least. Keith Jeffrey and Hadley Boyce 5th and 6th positions before you get back to Brent and Brock Smith on row 4. Keep an eye out for the battle between them, and then Taylor Vandenbush and Fouad Boran at the back of the final heat of the night. That's an interesting camera angle for Cody Winicki. Not distracting at all. Both racing, Dave, and apparently following along with you and me.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty cool right there. Seeing a Works trophy up there, too, and a lot of first places there. That's pretty cool to see.
Cody is a Pro Turbo champion, Pro NA champion as well. Yep. Says also a back-to-back World Cup 3rd place champion here in the iRacing Short Course Series, so hoping that he can continue delivering a decent effort in qualifying. Guess what? 3rd position again.
Well, it's going to be a good spot there to be in. That's where you want to be for sure. I'll tell you, there's some competition, though. Seeing Drapkin in this one for sure. He's always a force to be reckoned with here.
Absolutely. Red line all 56. I'll correct myself, by the way. We're in the 4th heat, not the 3rd heat, which means Cody qualified 4th, not 3rd. But I shouldn't have said anything. No one would necessarily have been any the wiser. Still waiting for a couple of final checks just to go through from race control before we get underway. And of course, if you're new to the world of short course, Dave, after these 4 heats, the drivers who have not advanced to the main events, they go to the LCQs. Top 2 advance from each.
Yep, that's a tough way to fight your way in. I'll tell you, only 2 drivers going to fight their way, and we can see how these heat races have gone so far. Man, I think we're going to see a little bit more beating and banging going on, a lot more fiberglass flying in the LCQs.
That's what I'm hoping for, although maybe some of the drivers hoping for us to not say that. Pace truck's going to pull off and away, and how early does Cody Winicki go? Our pole sitters have not waited long. Pace truck pulls away at speed, and away goes our pole sitter as well. Zach Drapkin's already got the inside on Evan McFarlane, and maybe 3 wide up to turn 1. Here comes the pushing and shoving. Drake Mittag gets involved in all of the action. McFarlane almost gets turned down into turn 2. He's gone from 2nd to 4th, but he holds on.
Yeah, you can see Jeffrey and Boyce trying to move up in there too. You can see them all stacking up there. The two drivers out front now established. The battle for third is going on right now for sure. We'll see how these guys going to fight it out here. The top two, Drapkin and Winicki, Drake Matag, Jeffrey, McFarland. And look at this, Smith trying to make a run at it.
Evan McFarland from 2nd to 7th. This is the world of short course. He's going to cross underneath and try and grab a couple of positions back and slide his way forward to 5th. Brent Smith currently in that 4th and final transfer spot, although it's just provisional, because as Winicki, Drapkin and Mittag try to build away, it's all about that one final transfer spot behind. Brock Smith, the one car that got tagged around at turn 2. He's still running, albeit a couple of seconds off the pace. Brent Smith's got to watch out. Keith Jeffrey and Evan McFarland behind him, wheel to wheel.
Well, Brent Smith not crying too much. He's up in a qualifying position right now. You know, you'll take the beats and bangs, just qualify me, he's saying. Oh,
It's
Keith Jeffrey. Oh, man.
It's a type of racing that you really have to get dirty in. You can't just sit there and watch the action pass you by. Keith Jeffrey, tongue out, truck flies through that final corner, has to watch as McFarland tries to pinch up the inside as well. And watch on the exit how he leans on Brent Smith. Remember, almost 100 miles an hour up to turn number 1.
And you can see they're literally side by side through the air. He gets a little out of shape. He might carry too much speed. My little punch there to Brent Smith there. Oh, Jeffrey knows. He got a little late in the binders there.
Still wheel to wheel. Can Smith avoid tagging the side? No, Jeffrey gets hit, but Jeffrey holds on. Exactly what they were hoping, though, for in that front 3 positions. All of this has opened up that gap even further, and it's 4 effectively, maybe 5 effectively, for 1 transfer positions. They'll have 3 laps left to settle this amongst themselves, but potentially, if Jeffrey's able to take advantage here of Boyce and Smith getting all sorts of out of shape, he'll be able to grow the gap. McFarland plugs the hole.
Yeah, I can see. I was wondering if that was a little retribution from earlier, but unfortunately, he carries a little too much speed, gets out of shape, and loses that position. But now Jeffrey, McFarland now trying to push on him. And here comes Smith to try and answer back, but he's deep there. He's trying to get onto Boyce.
So now that McFarland's got some daylight in 5th, can he close back up to Keith Jeffrey? As, whoop, there we go, bit more action down at turn 2, into the wall for Taylor Vandenbusch. I think that was incidental contact with Brent Smith for Baran as well that saw that entry, just a trim entry down at turn 2, need a return to pit lane on the flatbed. 2 to go. Winicki's under pressure from Zach Drapkin, in my opinion, as once again, Boyce and rather Smith and Baran this time, I think, get together. No, it was Smith and Boyce once again. 2 laps left to go for these two.
Yeah, it looks like Boyce got a little bit of a boot there when he got sideways. Him and Brent Smith tangling up just a little bit. Smith gonna hold that inside line down. Oh! Was that Jeffries up and over? Oh no, McFarland, sorry. That was McFarland. It rolled in turn number 1.
And that means that after starting 2nd, Evan McFarland is going to have to go through an LCQ. He'll be feeling a bit frustrated. Well, that's just the way short course goes sometimes. It's not always going to go in your direction. You'll flip over, unfortunately. That's just the way it do be. And here's a look at the replay. Mounts himself on the inside wall and doesn't settle back on all 4 wheels.
Yeah, he got on the bike and unfortunately couldn't get back down off the bike.
Well, 1 lap left to go. What does Zachary Drapkin elect to do here? He's closed up to the back of Cody Winicki in the number 9. The red line, all 56 is all over the back bumper, heading down to turn 2.
You know, at this point, you just drive smart. You got to just, you know, hey. When Winicki gets a little bit out of the shape, he's able to reel it back in there, but it's going to delegate Winicki to the front position. Drapkin will be running on that second, still leaning on that fender, though. Oh, my goodness. He is letting them know he's there. Applying a little bit of pressure, Once
into the fingers.
Bump, bump.
Oh, there's contact there. On the outside, Winicki might lose out here. Zachary Drapkin's going to push him all the way to the wall. Neck and neck, nearing the start-finish line at 100 miles an hour. Winicki's got it back. Oh, my days. It's by 10,000ths of a second. But Cody Winicki gets it at the line.
Oh, that was absolutely crazy. It was a good move. It was very clean. You know, Drapkin didn't change his position. They went door to door all the way down. But when Winicki held on to it, a very dejected Drapkin, but he's going to the dance.
I think that reaction says it all. Oh, that was cruel. 10,000th of a second. Cody Winicki holds on, and I'm hoping I don't get kicked out of my hotel room in Atlanta. Zachary Drapkin second, Drake Mittag third, and then of course final transfer is going to be Keith Jeffrey, while Smith, Boyce, Smith, Buran, McFarlane and Vandenbush unfortunately have some work to do, and not all of them will make it to the main event. And already LCQ1 ready to rumble. Matthew Lindy, Tom Grady front row, Adam McAfee, Joey Herbie behind them, Tyler Shattuck, Christian Noble 5th and 6th positions. 7th goes the way of Austin Schreiber with Luke Sofrit alongside on row 4. Jeff Ives and Kyle Cooper, they'll bookend the top 10 with Cross Kirchmeier and Gavin Plummer sharing row 6. And remember, while this is a monster field, the most that we've thrown out onto track so far today, only 2 drivers, Dave, move forward to the main event.
12 men enter, and only 2 men will exit. It's going to be a battle royale for sure. See Matthew Lindy, he's been so close there. He's trying to get, just get focused, not to think too much. Just do what you do. That's one thing you got to learn to do. When you're sitting in a race car, it's warm, it's hot. At least you're a little bit more comfortable. You got more time to relax there. Some drivers just have to get it's almost a Zen state before the race.
See, I almost find it interesting because I think, there's something about that real car where you've got the other distractions which can keep you a bit more centered on the task at hand. In a sim world, at least Dave, I'll tell you myself, I used to be so locked in that if I had anyone in my apartment with me and I heard them moving around, I'd get angry and tell them to leave my apartment, which is why I'm glad I live by myself.
It's all about the side. Me, I would pump hardest rock I could until it was time to go racing. It just put me in another zone.
Everyone's got their own little pre-race ritual. For some, it's, I think, the boozy jerky, which I saw some of the drivers talking about, the different flavors they were enjoying. Once again, it's an early jump from Matthew Lindy. Pace truck's not even off and away as we get underway. Tom Grady, Adam McAfee, Joey Herbie, that's the front 4 as they slide up to the opening corner. 3 wide for 3rd position, and guess what? That's exactly what Lindy and Grady want to see. Their gap's already opened up. They're sliding back and forth behind them down into turn 2. 3 wide for 3rd once again as the top 2 break away.
And you can see right now, Herbie slides on 3rd position, Shattuck down to 4th. It was McAfee. Now Shattuck answers right back to the inside. And we can see a little jockeying going for position, the top 2, to allow him to break away. Lindy, he knew he had the pressure. That's why he was trying to say, all right, just focus, just focus. You got Lindy, but look at this, a 3 wide battle there. Herbie, McAfee, Safran. Oh my goodness, coming off and down the high speed 100 miles. There's Joey Herbie on board.
No points in this LCQ, so if you're Tom Grady, you can sit behind in 2nd as long as you think Matthew Lindy's got the pace to continue building the advantage. Be careful at turn 1. Adam McAfee in the 818, very lucky not to go around. It's Tyler Shattuck, though, that is starting to bridge the gap between Luke Sofrit and Tom Grady in those front 2 positions. We'll have 4 laps to go next time around, which doesn't sound like a lot. And Grady only a couple of car lengths off of the race leader. This is still McAfee, though, directly behind Luke Sofrit as they run down into the final corner.
Well, here's the nice thing. Shattuck now, all he has to do is focus on the car in front of him. There's a big enough gap. He's got a little bit of breathing room. He doesn't have to worry about blocking. At this point, focus on Tom Grady. His targets are set. Now he's got to get the speed and find it. And look at this run now. My goodness. You can just see that Safran and McAfee right now are just battling back there for the 4th and 5th position as they switch.
And Tyler Shattuck's now, almost 2 seconds in front of them, so he's loving all of this. It's giving him a chance to try and close on those top 2. He's not been able to do so. Again, contact for 7th place. Gavin Plummer pushes his way through, and now Jeff Ives drops to the tail end of this LCQ as a result of that one. More argy-bargy as off the corner. Cross Kirchmeier is almost locked door-to-door with Christian Noble. Got to be careful here. Remember, they're not fighting for points. All they're doing is maybe building some grudges heading through the rest of a long 2025. Kirchmeier now alongside of Austin Schreiber halfway through the LCQ.
And you can see this, guys, you can see the contact, a little fiberglass missing already there. But I think he didn't notice Shattuck is getting close now. He's trying to get up and get in that battle. Let's see if he can do it through here, turn number 3, looking to the inside. He's got Team Gold on his hood going, hey, let's see if I can get there and get those team points going still.
I think you're right, though, that at this stage, 2 laps left to go. Shattuck's going to close, but might not be enough. The 24 of Joey Herby loses out to Gavin Plummer there. Again, Track Evolution is starting to move these trucks around the racing line slightly. That was very close, though, into the entry of the corner as Austin Schreiber loses out, I think, Gavin Plummer gets in front of Joey Herby through all of that. Still got the wheel-to-wheel between Noble and Kirchmeier with 2 laps left to go. And again, Tyler Shattuck, if he gets close enough, could have a look. We will have race control, though, to determine if there's a bit too much contact for this transfer position into the main event. They'll be able to redress it. You can't just go through with a bump and run.
Well, Lindy looking a little very clean through there. And Grady's being very respectful, and I really like that. He knows in his qualifying position. He's got about 2 truck lengths, now 3 truck lengths from Shattuck. So Shattuck's got to, hope they make a mistake, because we're coming up in the white flag. 1 lap to go as they come across the stripe.
And that margin's still over a second. It's going to be a bit too much, and that's why Factory Sim Sports Grady has sat there and not pushed the case just yet. Lindy for a moment. We saw a look at the faces. This battle continues to rage on. Grady's showing himself in the mirror. Is he going to commit? No. Let's Lindy dive into the corner.
I don't know. I think it was a good line setup right there. He's going to be door-to-door with him. He's going to go for a crossover under. He's going to jump underneath there. Lindy's going to keep the nose there, so no daylight for him right there. Lindy with a smart move. It's going to come down to this final corner. Can they keep those trucks unsettling? And we saw this Drapkin did the same move. A little body slam. There it is. Oh, my.
You can see the wry smile. Wry smile from Tom Grady. Wonder what race control will make of that. At the end of the day, though, it does not influence who moves forward. It's just that Tom Grady in front of Matthew Lindy in the grid for the main event as the first C main comes to an end. Some new mud flaps as well for Grady and a handful of the drivers as they celebrate the GOAT. Tom Grady, a quarter of a second between him and Lindy, and then the Team Gold pair of Shattuck and McAfee just miss out with Plummer, Safrit, Herbie Schreiber, Noble, and Cooper, alongside, of course, 2 more drivers, Cross Kirchmeier and Jeff Ives, saying goodbye from Wild West. We'll see them from Bark River in a couple of weeks for our first Triple Crown event of the season. Who will join, though, the 2 to move forward? Sean Winkler, Brent Smith on the front row have the best chance, you'd say, but Prater, Boyce, Mickelson, and Smith, it's a fast front 6, with then Wes Graham, Fouad Baran, Eric Jones, Evan McFarlane, Solomon Borschinger, and Taylor Vandenbush. Some strong drivers hoping to try and make their way through expected chaos. The virtual reality there for Sean Winkler, which, Dave, we've seen that from 4 or 5 drivers tonight. Dirt, oval, and road, where we tend to see these drivers jump into the virtual reality more than anywhere else.
Yeah, I think they're, looking around a lot more. They're able to see a lot more, unless you get the big giant wraparound screens. But I think it keeps other distractions. Like you were saying, if somebody goes in your apartment and they're making noise, I think if someone walked in the room or whatever, you're not going to have to deal with it. There's nothing in your peripherals that's going to distract you.
And as we talked about slightly earlier, and you're not strapped in with your Hans device, you can actually move around a little bit more freely. The only thing that is the problem with the massive wraparound monitors that Dave alluded to is the massive wallet that you also need to be able to afford all of that. That's what makes sim racing great. You can go cheap, you can go expensive. We've got something for everyone. And here in the iRacing Short Course National Pro 4 Series, Mason Prater's out of sorts to turn 1. Oh, there's contact. The 994 of Hadley Boys bullies Brock Smith out of the way. Prater gets a shove then from Smith as they dive down. Oh my days. Are we going to get through the corner safely? They're all on top of each other. There's 4 into 1. Dennis Mickelson's up to second now as they run through turn 3.
And you can see Boyce was right on Prater right there. You can see on board as we're looking at this battle. There is 4 wide for a while going through that turn. Smith now leading these guys there in that second position. Winkler in a pole, but look at this, Prater bouncing around. He's going to get pushed really wide. A couple of the drivers still have a little contact, rubbing a little fiberglass. And did we say it was going to get physical in the LCQs? Well, it is physicality happening now.
We need to ask Dave what the weather's going to be like tomorrow, because his prediction was omnipresent. Oh, Evan McFarlane climbs on the wall. Remember, he flipped his truck last time he did that. Whoa, rejoining the track goes Dennis Mickelson. That was an interesting sequence there. And guess what? It's led to more chaos. They've just piled down into turn 2. There's fiberglass everywhere. There's 2 seconds at the front of the field for Sean Winkler. And I think through all of this, Brent Smith's the one that's taken the most advantage. Second with Prater trying to hunt him down.
And Prater was at the breakaway, but you can see Vandenbush there. He was getting a lot of physicality, and then Haley Boyce, as well as Dennis Mickelson. You can see that Brock Smith back there still battling. He's getting sandwiched between these two drivers here at Boyce. Oh, my goodness. Oh, sorry, it's Mickelson.
3 into 1. How's this going to work? McFarlane's going to have a chance to try and cross underneath of the Brock Smith, who's getting a shove from Mickelson as we sit with Wes the Mess. Great description of what we've seen so far. A mess. 3 laps to go after this one, and Prater and Smith are banging doors for second spot as well. Sean Winkler is 3 seconds clear on the 3rd lap of this race and is smiling his way to the bank right now. They are 3 wide behind as well. They might be 4 wide if they don't keep this clean. I mean, Dave, this is remarkable.
Oh, it's just absolutely insane watching this unfold right in front of us right now. You can see everybody's battling out, but all that matters is top and 2 positions. Prater now all by him, holding out the advances of Brent Smith, but Sean Winkler all by himself out front. Look at that gap that he's got right there. Smith looks to the inside of Prater. Prater's going to keep that inside line. He's going to push him out to control that middle preferred line. The fastest way through turn number 2 as he slides around. Smith looks to the inside, gets up in the K-rail. Contact with Prater. He's bumping. He's trying to, oh man, don't change his position.
This is exactly what we thought the LCQs would bring us. Hopefully, this action carries forward to our 22-lap main event. We'll have caution at the end of lap 10 to neutralize the race and to get things packed up once again. Brent Smith's going to have a chance, though, as we cycle on towards the penultimate lap of this race. 2 trips around the Wild West Motorsports Park to come. Well and truly in the Wild West in the second LCQ as well. Hoping race control doesn't need to get involved for either of our transfer positions. Of course, Sean Winkler's looking pretty comfortable. I think right now, if I'm Mason Prater, I'm a little bit worried because of how much excitement there is behind me. All it takes is one driver slightly missing the braking zone and things get a lot more exciting.
Oh, exciting. And you're going to have a 5,000-pound truck up in your grill there for a second. But you can see Prater now on the, 2 laps to go. When we come around this next time, we're going to see that white flag at the flag stand. But look at everybody battling back there. Boys, Jones, Mickelson. Look at Brock Smith getting into the mix there. My goodness.
This race has had a little bit of everything for everyone except Sean Winkler, for whom it's had just one thing: domination and driving away at the front of the field. Down to turn 2 for the final time. Gap opens up for Mason Prater. Has he been able to do enough to hold on this final lap?
And what I'm amazed is the 4-second. Whoa! Smith comes a little hot in there. Little bump to Prater. Prater able to recover real nicely. He gets a little boot from behind, a little desert bump there. Smith trying to get the shoehorn out there, not able to make it happen. Prater, he knows what it's like. He's raced with these guys on the track in real life. He knows you block. And look at this. Oh my goodness, again to the inside. Brent Smith getting physical with Prater.
He gave it a good go, but while Sean Winkler wins up front, Mason Prater does enough to advance alongside the 720. Margin between the 2 drivers at the line down to 1/10 of a second. They will barge into each other just to acknowledge the fight that was had. Again, our damage bills are virtual. Thankful for that one. 5 seconds the margin. Again, Sean Winkler laughing his way all the way to the bank. 5.3 seconds clear of Prater, Smith, Vandenbush, Boyce, Smith, Mickelson, McFarlane, Jones, and Graham. There's some big names, unfortunately, missing out on the main event. Fouad Baran, Solomon Borschinger at the back of this field. Top 2 confirmed as well for both LCQ 1 and 2. No changes from our team at Race Control. And so what does that mean? Well, Dave will get a couple of minutes of warm-up here before our drivers are sent out there for the main event. So in our warm-up session right now, just a couple of moments for these drivers to get themselves ready to go. There's been some drivers, let's not forget, Dave, who have been watching from the sidelines since their heat races.
Oh, definitely. They're watching that going on. They're going, oh, it's not going to get that physical in the main event. But it's all about now. If you qualified good, you should be out front and you should be good to go. That's what it's going to come down to. And you know everybody's going to have a certain bullseye on a certain driver's back.
Mr. Slicky has got the target on his back. There are no ifs or buts about that. I think the question also becomes Luke Knupp finishing second in his heat. He's not going to line up second. Conor Barry winning heat number 1 is actually not going to line up first either because of the invert that we have. So winner of heat number 2 will actually line up from the front and be in control on the start. And so to what Dave was saying, Conor Barry with the target on his back should be on the outside heading up to the opening corner. Always an interesting thing with that red number plate and on the side of your car.
Oh, it was an inversion of 4 then?
I think it's an inversion of 2, if I read correctly.
Oh, so it's just okay, so he's going to be in second row. Okay, gotcha.
Yes. Invert is 2, yes. So heat 2 winner is on pole. And so, yes, Conor Barry should start second.
Okay, it's going to be interesting in this one. I got to say, it's going to be establish your position in turn number 1. So we're going to see 4 wide probably going to turn 1. I have a strong feeling. And a lot of fiberglass rubbing.
Yes, and through all of that, let's not forget, we've called it out a couple of times, but Dave will have a caution at the end of lap 10. It packs the field up, it lets things get more exciting, and most importantly, if you are a lap down, you get an opportunity to get your lap back, so you have a chance to get back into the fight.
That's right. You know, I was just looking at the weather temperature here I was showing, and I know it affects how the track is. It's only 82 degrees outside. There's 121 on the track temperature. Tires get sticky. And that's what you want. They're going to have some good traction in that blue groove. Now, are they going to reset the track, or are we going to go back to like a clean condition, or is it just how we qualified and raced?
I believe we keep rolling, if I'm correct.
We're going to be laying some rubber down this race.
The blue groove, obviously, when we actually bake rubber into the surface of the track as we go, something that makes iRacing simulation so interesting when it comes to short course. Well, it's all come down to this. Warm-up in the books. It's time for us to take a look at the starting grid for main event number 2 in the 2025 iRacing Short Course National Pro 4 Series. Nicholas Dachelet will be in control of the field, climbing up to the opening corner. He'll have Conor Barry alongside in the number 2, with Briley and Winicky 3rd and 4th positions. Luke Knupp, as he tries to repeat his domination here in 2024, lines up a little bit further back. And then don't forget, as you work your way down through the field, Christopher Plumley is 6th, Cody Vanderveer is 7th, and Zachary Trapkin lines up 8th. Crystal King, Thad Countryman bookend the top 10, with Josh Edmondson, Drake Mittag sharing row number 11. 13th, and hopefully not unlucky 13th for the Terminator Tyson Miller. He's got Matt Adams in 14th alongside him, with Brody DeShure and Keith Jeffries directly behind them. 17th for Tom Grady, 18th for Sean Winkler in that 720. As we get to those that fought their way through, Matthew Lindy, Mason Prater are going to be the drivers to take part in the battle, I should say, while Tyler Shattuck and Taylor Vandenbush provisionally were moved on forward from the LCQ, but Race Control confirms nothing needed in terms of intervention. They do not take part in our 20-car main event. There's Dachelet, the pole sitter. Imagine the nerves right now, Dave, going through him. Barry alongside, Briley and Winicky in the row behind. A lot of pressure on his shoulders in that factory sim sport number 23.
Yeah, he's probably a little conversation going on right now with some of the spotters, and, you know, get a little strategies, what they're going to try and do. And it's going to be get out front, establish the position, and block.
Believe we will get an additional formation lap, by the way, so we're not going to see the truck accelerate as though it's powered by 1,000 suns this time around. Instead, it will be as it comes out of turn 4 next time. Also means these drivers drive around for a little bit longer, and so I'm hoping if they were cutting it close on fuel, they put a little bit more in just in case. Dave, you'll say that, you know, sim racers, they'll never make that mistake, but I've commentated on many a sim race where top-level drivers have made silly mistakes like that.
Oh, yeah, well, I've seen it in real life. They didn't calculate the fuel right. They didn't get something right, and boy, it could really affect everything. It's a domino effect at that point.
Racing is so mental as well. When one domino falls, right, then the rest kind of concertina off. It's why the best drivers have a very tough mental attitude. It's not even that they're tough mentally, it's just that they can almost brush the disappointment off, Dave, and focus on what they need to do next.
Yeah, and you can't let somebody get in your head or something get in your head. And that's what it is. I mean, I know drivers that will try and intimidate you, you know, before the race, and, you know, hey, your truck look a little funny out there. I mean, I've seen them really mess with them. Is your axle a little loose back there? Check your Bluetooth axles.
All sorts of mind games. Medal, by the way, let's not forget, you can see that behind Connor Barry, something that every one of our winners in 2025 will be receiving. That was Connor Barry's 17th win. Can he grab win number 18 as Nicholas Dashley launches us at Wild West Motorsports Park? Good launch from him. Where does Luke Knupp go? Slightly further behind. Did not get the best start as he battles with Christopher Plumley. Out of turn 1, they're going to die. Briley's battling with Barry in the fight for second place. Winicki's there with Knupp in the fight behind them for 4th, but a nice tidy start through all 20.
And you can see Barry driving the inside of Briley right now. Briley has that inside line going into turn number 3 coming around. He's going to push Barry real wide, trying to get him in the marbles, and he does. Barry gets a little bit of loss of traction, and Briley holds on to second, Barry to third, but it's Dashley with a good run up the hill. You can see Knupp trying to hold off Winicki and Vanderveer now as we go into that big turnstile to the high speed zone.
Nicholas Dashley has not won a race in the Pro 4 National Series. He did win a race in the World Cup in the Pro 4s, though, so we know he can do it as we jump on board with Christopher Plumley. Once again, riding in VR. He'll take a spot away from Cody Winicki initially until the 9 gets a better run down the hill and holds on the inside. You can see the pressure building up front, though, as Briley's alongside of Nicholas Dashley, sweeping up to turn number 3. Right side fiberglass goes flying as Briley tries to crisscross underneath. He'll get a good drive down into that final corner. Dashley's going to hold on. This has got all the signs of a landmark great race, Dave.
Yeah, Keaton Swain's not here to pick on you right now, so you're going to go remind Dashley he hasn't won. And as we say that, Briley goes right into the lead there. Connor Barry watching it back in that 3rd position. Dashley switches up. He's going to try and take that inside lane, but Briley's going to break early and just kind of squeeze him in. But Dashley able to capitalize, get him by nose, but Briley will have the inside line going into turn 2.
It's going to be a nice little fight between these two. Got a question where Luke Knupp puts himself in all of this. Just tags the right rear of Connor Barry, reminds him that he's there, and he's forced Barry to open the door, or he's gone out wide. Here comes Knupp in the 5. He's going to take advantage and move his way forward to 3rd. The driver that won both of our races at Wild West in 2024, trying to win once again here in 2025. He's going to push Slicky out wide. He's going to grab 3rd position. It's a great move from the number 5.
Yeah, he was right up in that fender there of Dashley as they run down the hill. He's going to tuck in. It's going to be questionable now as he go to the inside of Dashley. He's going to try and squeeze it in. That's what Dashley had done to him earlier by Briley. He's going to try and return the favor there. Briley's still with that inside line. He's going to cross up, take that line. But here comes Dashley to the inside. He's going to push Briley. And here comes Luke Knupp into the lead.
He didn't even need to make the move himself. Nicholas Dashley and Trenton Briley squabbled. Luke Knupp took advantage. Barry's going to try and follow through. Ride with Cody Vanderveer back in 7th position. The 159, the Racecraft Academy car, gives us a great perspective down to the fingers as Christopher Plumley bullies Cody Winicki out of the way. It's Knupp 1, it's Barry 2. Dashley trying to hold on, though, to that 2nd spot as we close lap 4 of 22.
And Barry to the inside now of Dashalet. Dashalet is going to get forced to the outside there, and he's going to sweep the inside. Trenton Briley now going for third place. Gets by Dashalet by a nose, but Dashalet with the inside line. Can he hold him off here when he come around? Briley gets pushed really wide. Can he keep that traction going? But here comes Plumley next to Briley, trying to get Briley. And we had a crash in the back, and I'm not sure was that when Nicky? It possibly was.
It was indeed. It helped if I unmute myself, Dave. You can blame
I was
me
like,
for
where'd
that
you
one.
go?
Mounted himself on the K-rail and then, somehow gets himself out of it as well. Impressive. But Barry to the inside, up through turn 1, lap 6 of 22. And two titans in the world of iRacing short course squabble. And Barry takes the lead back over.
Yeah, I thought you were getting a little room service there for a second, but Barry back out front once again. Knupp looks down the inside, and look at this, Dashalet and Briley right back there like hungry dogs. Briley gets a little bit of loss of traction there as we see Dashalet to the inside of Knupp. Throws him a door, real wide. Knupp goes, trying to get a run now for Dashalet, but it's Barry now starting to pull away through the fingers, through the bumps, through the lumps. Here they come down the hill.
Oh, and talk of the lumps, the bump from Trenton Briley's cost him some time. What does Christopher Plumley elect to do in that number 36? Even if Barry does pull away, let's not forget, in a couple of laps' time, end of lap 10, we will neutralize the race, competition caution, and Mason Prater is going to get his lap back. And after that, a restart, and from there, we will run all the way to the checkered flag. These drivers up front have started to chip away, though, from those slightly further behind. Christopher Plumley's part of the action. In fact, this lead train still extends all the way back, 8th position.
Oh, and Knupp now letting Connor Barry go, don't forget about me, I'm here. Beating him a little bit of a front fender to his back porch. Connor's going to get on the gas, try to pull away. Now Knupp with a bump to the inside. We've seen that so many times. You got to get a good run to get up that hill, to get to the inside, to take that move. Knupp almost had it, but look at this, Dashalet. Watch what he's going to do to the inside. He's going to try to get the inside of Knupp here. He did it earlier. Oh, Knupp kept it real tight. Left no daylight. Plumley trying to squeeze in there, can't do it, but Briley still in that 4th position.
I can see Zachary Drapkin slightly further back. He's trying to close. We're 3 wide through 2. In the middle, shedding fiberglass for a moment was Dashalet. Knupp's going to hold on. Briley's going to go the long way around. Can he get the power down here? Dave did mention it. You can't just stab your foot to the floor. You've got to be quite progressive at times and roll the speed through the dirt. Bit of a bump there from Briley to the back of Dashalet, who now pushes Knupp there, being beaten and banged and leaned on there by Cody van der Veer as well. It's great stuff. It is building the advantage for Connor Barry and Nicholas Dashalet. Start of lap number 9, out of shape for a second up to the opening corner. He's keeping Luke Knupp honest, though. He might even grab second down to turn 2.
And look at him jump cross right in front of Knupp. Takes that line right away. But Knupp's going to go in. He's going to feed him a front fender and try and squeeze his way on. Squeezes him right out of that position. Briley was going to try and take that also. Briley now on the outside. And it looks like Dashalet able to squeeze him out. But look at this. Trenton Briley and Zach Drapkin trying to get in the fight.
Zachary Drapkin in that red line, all 56, is going to now focus on those two in front that are squabbling, because guess what? If they do right like what they did there, lean on one another, it lets those behind close up even more. End of this lap, we will neutralize the field with a full course caution, but it's Connor Barry that took pole position and won his respective heat. He did not start at the front of this feature race, but since he's found his way back to the point, he has not looked back. In fact, already the caution has come out, so field neutralized, and Dave will get ready to go once again as the field gets stacked up.
Man, we always see it gets physical, the LCQs, but this main event, oh my goodness, the beating, the banging, man, everybody's going to get a few lumps in this one for sure. And those trucks, are going to get a lot light from fiberglass. Connor Barry, looking sweet up front, looking clean. He had a lot of contact. Knupp. And how about Nicholas Dashalet? Look at Cody van der Veer has fought his way up into that mix now with Briley and Drapkin. Got Plumley. I think Briley, Drapkin have to keep an eye out. If they start to battle, Plumley's going to be there to pounce. There he is, getting the room service again.
Oh, I did it again.
He had the champagne probably coming.
Oh, I wish. You know, that was what the drivers enjoyed on the podium today. Mason Prater gets his lap back as I enjoy my room service. Remember, we have neutralized the field under full course caution. And so once we get back underway from there, another 11 or 12 laps of racing lie ahead. And I think I totally agree with what Dave was saying before I went on mute. Christopher Plumley is the danger man in a lot of ways. On this restart though, Dave, I think Luke Knup's got to get aggressive. I think he can't let Connor Barry continue to control the pace up front.
Yeah, I got to know, is it lobster thermidor you got, or a little pheasant under glass?
No, it was just the champagne. We're not even going food. We're just drinking our sorrows away.
But yeah, no, this is gonna be. Don't forget who's behind you race right now. That's going to be so important. I know Connor knows that Luke's right behind him. But if you get focused too much what's in front of you on some of these other drivers, it's going to be interesting to see if the physicality level is going to go up a little bit. I wouldn't want to be in the stewards' positions right now. Their eyes are going to be on them like hawks.
Absolutely. A good jump from Connor Barry doesn't even mean Luke Knup's going to get the chance up to the opening corner. Drapkin thought about the lunge on Trenton Briley a little bit further back. Knup's got the pressure, though, from Dashley as they descend out of 2. 3 into 1, slightly further behind as Van der Veer, Briley, and Drapkin all make a little bit of contact with one another. But a nice, tiny restart, all things considered. We'll be halfway through this race, and there, Ongu, the drama behind. Looked like Brody DeSure got slightly tagged around, and once again, front 10 or so going to start to pull away.
Yeah, Van der Veer holding on that position. Briley trying to make a run on the outside. Drapkin coming up the inside. He's going to try and fill that spot there and follow Van der Veer through there, pushing Briley a little wide. And there, into the wall they go. Contact back. Plumley gets slipped around, hits the K-rail, gets turned around, and mayhem in the back of the field.
That was Matt Adams in the 404 that hit the stricken Plumley. Not much either of them could do, and you can look at the fiberglass missing there. Adams stricken on the climb up towards turn number 1. Briley, Countryman, Edmondson, they're all fighting 6th, 7th, and 8th positions right now. Front of the field, though, as stack up continues slightly further behind in turn 2. Barry, Knupp, they are starting to pull away as one would expect. Dashley is not going to necessarily let them go without some sort of a fight. Look at all of the chaos slightly further behind. Crystal King, Mason Prater pushing each other to the wall.
Oh man, a lot of contact there. You can see them trying to fight their way. Prater to the inside, contact with King, and you can see a little bit of Drake Matag getting in there also. Trying to make a pass there. Fiberglass flying all over. Truck's out of shape. Another one went around there. And you're going to see everyone fighting for points now. That's what it's about. You made the main event. Now it's a long season. You got to get those points in there. Tom Grady, oh my goodness, getting beat up there too.
Was he part of all of this? No, this is Plumley. That's the first bit of incident. And then he hits the wall. Not much he can do. Matt Adams runs into that 36 machine, and then that's all she wrote. This is what happened to Tom Grady. Separate incident. And ooh, that's also though on the start-finish line.
Yeah, that just literally happened this last lap. Insane. Oh, bam. And that's why you want the Hans device. Straight.
Let's talk Team Championship quickly. Racecraft, Van der Veer, and Drapkin, they're 4th and 5th. Team Gold have Luke 2nd, and Trenton Briley in 6th. Factory Simsport, Dash Delays up there in 3rd, but then his next teammate, Crystal King, all the way back in 16th. And so maybe it's Channel 199 Sim Racing with Barry leading, Edmondson in 8th. That will may not take the most points, but might be the most satisfied with how overall this race has played out. That gap between Barry and Knupp, you can't see it on the left side of your screen, but I can tell you it's hovering just around 1 full second.
Yeah, you can see the battle now with Drapkin trying to get on to Van der Veer. And he's up in that 5th position. You can see the 4 drivers in front of him gapped out right now. Barry not in any danger with Knupp. Not too close there. A little gap back to, of course, Dashley. Nicholas, of course, in the blue and white 23 machine. And you're talking about team points, team strategies. We got a few teammates sandwiched in the middle here.
Movers and shakers on the left side of the screen as well. You can see +8 for Sean Winkler. You'll be pretty happy with that performance. Lindy and Prater are +7 as well. It's going to be Plumley, Adams, King, a little bit frustrated with how their races have shaken up. And we will go to Buck River next time for a Triple Crown format. So triple the racing in some ways, triple the points, of course, as well. And one of my favorite formats, because, I don't know, Dave, it does always seem to be very exciting, our Triple Crown race, because it just delivers something special.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely, I mean, the whole race format, I just love that. I mean, this is down and dirty, you know, traditional racing. When we get to the Triple Crowns, we just watched it going on in Super Motocross. It just adds a whole nother element. I mean, NASCAR's got their deal going, and now iRacing short course, right on the cutting edge.
And of course, you talk about cutting edge. We also have playoffs. New for 2025, there is not just a Pro 4 National Series. There's going to be a Pro 2 National Series later on this year. There will be qualifying for that, so drivers will have to earn their way into that series. And then the best of the best from the Pro 4s, the Pro 2s, they'll do battle in what is new for 2025, the National Series World Finals, where we will crown a champion and someone will join sim racing legends. More news to come as we get towards the end of the year and continue to announce when those races will take place. Jeffrey, Crystal King, and then slightly further behind them, Drake Mittag, as well as Tyson Miller. There's 4 in the fight here. Lots of fiberglass has gone flying, and the Terminator still out there and on the outside trying to fight with Mittag.
Yeah, Terminator throwing some elbows still out there. You can see another contact, a lot of contact in the back of the pack, where they're just fighting for points in position right now. Back and forth they go, Miller and Drake Mittag. So we watch it go. But Connor, lap 17, 18, we'll have 4 to go by the stripe for our leaders this next time by. But just watching these battles back here, the physicality that these drivers are getting into.
Ooh, be careful, Cody, as he mounts the wall. Still 4th position, though. Zachary Drapkin, his teammate, does not force the issue down to turn 2. Instead, Briley tries to cause something to happen, and it's going to slightly push the red line all 56 out wide, who returns fire down through turn 3, holds on to 5th position. That's the nature of short course racing, though, especially these bull rings. And I love the elevation change here, Dave, something you can kind of see from this great helicopter camera angle.
And it's kind of crazy, even if you're on ground level or the grandstands, it's really deceiving until you actually go on the track and go up and down these hills. You're like, damn, they're big and steep. And you can imagine how flying up a hill on dirt that's slick at 100 miles an hour, and yeah, get on the brakes and make that turn.
While leaning on another driver, while battling 3-4 wide. Trenton Briley's getting kicked around as now Josh Edmondson joins the scrap in another one of the Channel 199 cars. He gives a little bit of a hit to the back of Briley, who once again gets pushed wide by Zachary Drapkin, returning the favor from a lap ago. 3 to go at the line as we sit on board with Thad Countryman. Edmondson pushes his way on the left of the driver we sit on with now, but 2 seconds the lead for Connor Barry up front. Dave, it's been a masterful performance once again from Slicky.
Absolutely, performance unencumbered by issues that we can see that's going on with all the other drivers. And Briley and Drapkin both tie up, hit the wall, take out another one. Briley able to get through it, though. He's able to keep moving there as he moved back to that 9th position there. Winkler, Winnicki, and Edmondson now up to 6th place. And look at this, now to 5th. He gets by Countryman. And Plumley now out. Multiple damages on Plumley, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's had a rough go of things. He's 2 laps adrift as Cody Winnicki battles with that Countryman. Drapkin's rejoined down in 13th. He was the big loser in that respective incident. He's still fighting with Matthew Lindy as well. I mean, we didn't see much fiberglass fly in our heats. We saw plenty of it in our LCQs, and we've seen even more of it in the main event. Here's a look at the replay, and I mean, they're basically glued together, I think, once they kind of hit and are in the air right there.
Well, I mean, you can tell when one driver sees another driver turning into you, you're going to turn back into him, because if you don't, you're going to get slammed off the other way. Unfortunately, it didn't go well for Drapkin. He was able to get going again, but Briley kept on the march up there, but you can see it definitely affected Briley's position all the way back to 9th. But with one lap to coming around here soon, they're 21 laps down to 22. We're on that 21st lap now. We can see a great shot there again. Briley still trying to make a run on Sean Winkler, trying to get a few more spots there. Again, it's all about those points, and we talked about for the team championships as well.
It's ominous, though, as we head on to the final lap, that Connor Barry, yes, he got a bit pushed around at the start of the race, and I'll look at the replay between Drapkin and Briley. It's somewhat telling that he didn't have it all his own way. He got pushed back initially, fought his way to the front through all of the madness, and once he re-established himself at the points, there was no looking back. The storyline coming into the race was, would it be domination from Luke Knupp once again after sweeping the races here in 2024? He was the one that many looked at as the favorite, but instead, standing up to be counted 2 weeks after he won for the 17th time in the iRacing Short Course National Series. Add one more to the list. Win number 18 for Connor Barry at the Wild West Motorsports Park. A run to the line. Vanderveer gets it at the very end.
Oh my goodness, Eric, gets by Dashley, the rest. But I'll tell you, this is one that definitely made me feel I was right back there in Sparks, Reno, Nevada area, watching it all unfold. The intensity that these racers brought tonight was second to none.
If only we could spin back the clock and maybe do this in the real world with these drivers. Lots of them have got experience in the real world. Imagine the show they'd put on for us. We'll catch up with Connor Barry, who, let's not forget, Dave, is going to add yet another medal to the collection slowly building in the background.
Yeah, definitely. He's got to be excited there, as you can see him celebrate. Open up that Reno donut shop right now. That's 2 donuts now for Connor Barry and the big wins.
Wonder what type of donut Connor Barry would celebrate with. Maybe that can be one of the things that we ask our championship leader. Probably still atop of our power rankings as well. 3.5 seconds. It doesn't sound like a lot, but in the world of short course, it's a country mile. Clear of Luke Knupp is the number 2 with Cody Vanderveer. What a happy day for him. He will be thrilled to grab 3rd place at the line. Nicholas Dashley loses out, unfortunately, as Josh Edmondson completes the top 5. That countryman, Cody Winicki, Sean Winkler, Trenton Briley, and Mason Prater through the field. A couple of small numbers to read there as well. Drapkin down in 11th. Frustrating, I'm sure, for him after what was a disappointing season opener at Crandon. Lindy 12th, King 13th with Jeffrey, Deshure, Mittag, Miller, and Grady. Our 18 finishers in this race. Unfortunately for Christopher Plumley, for Matt Adams, classified as DNFs. I don't think we're going to have to wait very long to be catching up with our drivers in our post-race coverage. I don't see a certain Connor Barry standing by just yet. So instead, I was going to say let's go down and check in with someone else on the podium, but Mr. Slicky has shown up, and Dave Arnold standing by with our 2-time race winner in 2025.
Connor Barry, the big win here, the relief, the monkey's off your back 2 in a row. And you know, you and Luke, good friends over the years. You know he's been the one that's taken the wins. It's eluded you. How elated are you at this point?
I am thrilled on that one. That was a crazy race. I started in the second spot, and I fell back to like 5th or something. I was not expecting them to be so aggressive. And then I fell back to 5th, and I need to go, and I just pinned it, and I went from 5th to 1st, like I think in 2 laps, and then I brought it home. It was definitely a good one. I know a week ago when we were at Crandon, like I was able to get 1st, But honestly, like I was bummed on that one just because I felt like I was just a roadblock. I went back and I found some speed, and I was so fast up there. So I am pumped on that. I swept it all. I got first in qualifying. I got first in my heat race, and then I was able to go and win. So I am pumped on that. I'm pumped that I was able to go and actually find my speed back. I guess the only thing I have to go and find is just that early aggression.
And speaking of aggression, this is one of the more physical races, but it looked like a lot of it was clean. It was a lot of door-to-door action. I mean, this is a race that you had to lean on somebody to get by. This track is typical of that.
Yeah, it definitely, like, I think it's definitely a track where it is tough to pass. And I personally thought that all those guys like towards the front were going to be calm, and they definitely were not. I fell back to fifth fast, and I kind of got like scared there, but I was able to get up there fast, and I got around first, and I was able to go out and win this. So I am for sure pumped on that, and it's definitely a track where you have to be aggressive, and I guess I learned that you have to be aggressive from the moment the green flag is out.
Good catch up there with Connor Barry. Let's see if we can now catch up with second place Luke Knupp after Connor stopped by the broadcast booth. Dave Arnold standing by with the driver of the number 5. Think we might have lost Dave Arnold there. I wasn't sure exactly what happened, but let's see if we can catch up with Luke Knupp nonetheless. Luke, do you have a copy on us?
Yeah, how are we doing?
Doing great, Luke. It was an interesting fight. You gave it your all, especially before the competition caution in that main event. Talk us through heading here to the Wild West Motorsports Park to start off 2025.
Yeah, coming in had pretty good confidence. You know, won both races last year, so felt good, but had a pretty slow start at round 1, getting 4th. I know it's like still a top 5, but just wasn't really in contention at all, so wanted to bounce back, and I think we did just that. Not the win like we wanted, but some damage early on in the race just kind of stripped away my chances, so really happy with the podium spot either way.
I mean, the series is looking ultra competitive this year, Luke, and I think the thing I'm really looking forward to is the fact that we have the Pro 2 National Series coming up later this year. How are you looking forward to this entire year of, you know, short course National Series competition, all building up to the World Finals as well?
Yeah, I'm really excited for the new format. I think it's a cool touch, and it kind of follows what all the big national sports are doing. You know, NASCAR's got the playoff format, and motocross has the playoff Triple Crowns and all that stuff. So really cool to see, and I think it's going to bring a different aspect to the sport and to the series. So having Pro 2s and having them mixed up in the World Finals is going to be fun, and just trying to gather some points so we can try to have a big shot for the win at the end of the year.
Before we let you go as well, Luke, next week we're off for our first Triple Crown race of the season. For our viewers who haven't seen that format before, sum it up for them as a driver.
Yeah, my personal favorite are the Triple Crowns, so I'm really happy to be going back to one. I won 2 of them last season, I think, so one at Wild Horse, one at Crandon Short, so I'm really excited to head back into that. It's fun because you kind of don't just have one race, you have 3 of them, but you have to stay consistent, and I feel like that's one of my better personality traits in the truck is just really consistent. So super excited to go to that. We got some good points, so hopefully we can keep the momentum rolling.
It's a long year, lots of competition. Luke, we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time from Bark River.
Yeah, for sure. Just want to give a huge shout out to Team Gold Esports. They do a lot for me, and Thad, Tyler, Trenton, and Adam all put a ton of time. So them especially, Impact, Safety Products, Flash and Go Graphics, Looking Up Racing, everyone else. Thank you guys, and you guys for broadcasting, and Connor and everyone who runs the show. You guys do a great job.
Luke Up joins us after finishing second here at the Wild West Motorsports Park. Let's jump down to Cody Vanderveer, who had a great performance and stole it at the line, his podium spot in that Racecraft Academy car. Cody, congratulations. How are you feeling after today's action at Wild West?
I'm pretty happy. I mean, I've always been kind of a mid-pack driver, but I knew this was my one track I had a shot, and I don't know, man, Racecraft and all my teammates, like, we got seriously the fastest truck. I mean, I was running, I feel like both them down at the end. And I don't know, man, I'm stoked. I don't know what to do with my hands. I really feel like Ricky Bobby almost, I'm just had a great time driving. That's all I can say.
Well, talk to us about those trophies behind you, of course. Tell us a little bit about your experience in the world of short course.
Yeah, I've done a little bit of it, side-by-side racing in the Production 1000 class, and had fun, locally, and then went down to Glen Helen and done a couple of races. But I'm a man of many different hobbies, and so it's hard for something to keep my attention for that long. And sadly, as we all know, short course racing kind of died in the West Coast, so put a dampener into that.
Man of many talents, it sounds like, as well. Cody, congratulations on third. I'm sure it's the first of many. Talk to you soon on RaceSpotTV.
Thank you. Just first, I got to say thank you to my team and all the sponsors, everybody that makes this happen, and all my teammates that are sitting in Discord right now. So got to say something to those boys. But thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Cody's going to go off and have a bit of a chat with his teammates, I'm sure, an excited chat as well. I think we have Dave Arnold back on the line as we get ready to wrap coverage up. Dave, the joys of live broadcasting. We missed you for a couple of moments. Had a good chat with Cody Vanderveer with Luke Knapp.
The blue screen of death. That's all I can say. Big congratulations to all the racers. I gotta say, that was incredible.
We had a good chat with Cody. We had a good chat with Luke. And so I think, Dave, next time you and I are together in this virtual broadcast booth, a couple of weeks' time, we head to Bark River on March 12th for 3 Triple Crown races, our first in 2025.
Well, I'm looking to go back to Bark River, and I can't wait. The Triple Crown, such an exciting format. I can't wait what it's going to bring us.
It's always great to be back in the world of iRacing short course. The only problem is once it ends, it's a couple of weeks before we get to do it once again. But for 2025, there's so much to look forward to. Our team behind the scenes there at RaceSpotTV is ready to bid you farewell. For Hugo Luis on production, Dave Arnold alongside myself, Arjuna Kankipati. Thanks for joining us for the iRacing National Short Course 2025 Pro 4 Championship presented by APV Simulators and Team Real Racing. We'll see you next time from Bark River International Raceway.